Almost there. Yes, you are live.
Hello, everyone at home. Um, welcome to the lecture. So every last Wednesday of the month, we have a lecture, either 1 month in Portuguese, 1 month in English. This month is the lecture in English. So today we're going to talk about life here, life there. Alcione will bless us with this lecture in a little bit. Before we start, I'll just talk a few, maybe one notice that we have. So usually on Wednesdays we have our study group, and usually we have a group that is now finishing up the Asia, the study of the Spiritist doctrine. So we are trying to open a new class to start now in March. So presentation to do the study here in person. In one of the Parnell, we will reserve a room for that. We'll book a room for that, and we'll probably be on Mondays. Um, but we haven't set on the day of the week yet. So right now we don't have enough people to start the class. So if you would be interested in joining that, this type of study requires a bit more commitment. So Wednesday studies like today, the lecture and the studies we do on Wednesday, you can pop in whenever you can be here. We welcome everyone. You can bring a friend with you that might be interested to come to the study to learn a bit more about Spiritism. But this study, the Asian, is really for a set class and usually lasts around 3 years. So there is three books that we go through. Book volume 1, volume 2, and a third volume that is called Tomo Unico. So all of the study will be in English also. So this is the first time we do this study in English. So it's good for people that are trying to also exercise their English a little bit. It might be a good opportunity of chatting with people in English because it's a much more interactive study. So the idea is that we read parts of the book and we study at home, and then we meet and discuss the topic of that day and read parts again. Sometimes we make in a way that people present little bits of what the topic is of that week. So it's quite interactive, and this is why it needs commitment, because you need to attend as much as possible, right? So if you are interested in joining the class, let us know at the end of the lecture today. Come and talk to me, to Alcione, to Mani, and we'll write down your name so you can be part of the class. And as soon as we have enough people, we will notify everyone and start the group. So hopefully, if everything works out, on the second week of March, we will start the group. So if you know anyone that is interested also and is not here today, make sure to let them know. We'll keep reminding everyone every beginning of the study group, hopefully until we get at least 5 or 6 people to start that. Thank you. So tonight we will have our lecture. So we start with a page we always read. We always have an inspirational reading. So we do that first, and then we do our initial prayer, and then we have the lecture, and then in the end we will do collective vibration, and then our final prayer in the end. And we invite everyone to drink the magnetized water, and we can go outside to talk a little bit while spirituality works in this room. So I'll read a page from the book Living Spring, the breastplate of charity. Sorry, the photo of the photo on my phone. The breastplate of charity. Let us be temperate, putting on the breastplate of faith and charity. Paul. Paul was infinitely wise when he advised workers on the light to put on the breastplate of charity. For the success desired in our mission of love in the company of Christ, the most important thing is to protect one's heart. If we do not cloak the source of our sentiments with vibration of ardent love, utilizing a high level of comprehension in the areas of the sanctifying experience in which we struggle in the earthly arena, it will be very difficult to accomplish the task that the Lord has entrusted us. Frequent irritation, when faced with ignorance, only postpones the advantages of being beneficent teaching, of our beneficent teaching. Excessive indignation, when faced with weakness, only destroys the fragile seeds of virtue. Frequent anger in the daily struggle may increase the number of our enemies without any benefit to the work to which we have devoted ourselves. Excessive strictness, when faced with persons who do not know the benefits of discipline, may produce counterproductive effects due to a lack of education in a particular environment. Thus, understanding that Christians are in a veritable state of struggle and that at times we are challenged by suggestions of intemperate irritation, inappropriate indignation, unjust. The apostle to the Gentiles prescribed the breastplate of charity as a protective sentinel for the central organs of the expression of life. It is crucial to arm the heart with infinite fraternal understanding in order to focus on our ministry. Conviction and the enthusiasm of faith are enough for a good start, but in order to continue our ministry and finish it successfully, we cannot do without patient, kindly, and invincible charity. So we prepare for our initial prayer. For you that is at home, if you want to put a glass of water also out so it gets magnetized at home. And we will all close our eyes and settle in our seats, trying to be present, to vibrate together in order to say thank you, God and the friendly spirituality, for the opportunity of being here. We ask your blessings on this evening where we all gather to listen and study and learn some more about the Spiritism. We ask that you inspire and bless Alcione, who will speak to us today, that she may be open to receive the intuition from our mentors, from the friendly spirituality, that we all may vibrate on the highest of vibrations, being present here tonight, listening to the teachings, reflecting on our lecturer's words, and experiencing this high level of energy together. We will open our hearts, open our minds to listen and learning, hoping to leave here today a little better than we arrived. We ask that you bless those who couldn't be here tonight, those who are on their way on joining us physically or spiritually or through the internet. We ask that you bless all of those that are here, incarnated or disincarnated, all of the spirits that are joining us on this lecture tonight, that we may all receive the benefits of this collective vibration. Thank you, and so be it. Thank you. So I'll pass the words to Alcione.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. It's really nice to see a full house like that after this beautiful day. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but Auckland City today was truly beautiful. Blue sky, sunny, warm. I'm like that because here we have the aircon, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be cold, so I need long sleeves. But it's really nice to see everyone here and to talk a little bit about life, because as spiritists, we know we have life here, but we have life there as well, meaning the spiritual plane. But sometimes we don't even think about that. We think more about the here and not so much about there. So let's try to tonight reflect about it. And we start with just like the order or the topics that we're gonna be covering tonight. It's okay here, Winnie?
You're okay.
Okay, cool.
The camera's not okay, but you're okay.
I'm okay, that's good. So to start with, I'm gonna tell you guys about a dream that I had, which is related to the lecture. And next, we'll talk about a little bit about the book, Nosso. Conditions. So we're going to try to reflect what are the conditions here in the planet Earth and what is the conditions there in the spiritual planes, whether it's in a good space or a not so good space. The people here, people there, learning here, learning there. So we can see it's going to be about a parallel about Earth and the spiritual plane. And then the worries and concerns, and finally, our invitation. So I'll tell you about my dream. When I was preparing for this lecture, I had a dream, not like Martin Luther King, because that's a very special one, so not as important either. So basically, my dream, I woke up in a place where I didn't know anyone. And I didn't know the place, it was very strange. And in that place, I would go to classes, like yoga class, meditation, and some lectures, and I would just follow people. And I had no idea where I was just going to with the flow. And then at some point came to my mind, oh, I have a family, I have friends, where is everyone? Because everyone there were people, had people around me, but I didn't know anyone. And then I realized that I passed away in my dream, right, guys? And I started being sad and especially worried about everyone that I left in the earth, because in my dream I passed away. And I was like, how is people there? Are my parents maybe crying? What about my partner? Is he crying about me? I hope so. And what about my brother, which is here, and my partner is here too? So hopefully they were crying, but I didn't know because I was in the dream, and I was not able to be near them. I was temporarily far away from them, and I had no idea what was happening with them. And I woke up, thankfully. Oh yes, I'm alive, I'm here. But then, of course, I was preparing this lecture, and that probably influenced my dream. And the thing is, we all going to go through that. We all one day are going to pass away, and we're gonna face there rather than here. So it was really good that Allan Kardec, and not only him, other books as well, he brought us his information, what he saw over there, what happened with him. How many people have read this book? Anyone here? A few people, right? Yeah. What about the movie? Because also was made of a movie. Most people. Oh, almost everyone. Yeah, cool. So by the way, the Nosso 2 is already on in Brazil, not here yet. So hopefully when it's like streaming or something that we can access, we're gonna do a presentation here too. So in this book, André Luiz is a very famous book, spiritist, has about 50 chapters, not about, exactly 50 chapters, 281 pages, and it's by André Luiz and Allan Kardec. And the story of the book is about a doctor that passed away. He was from Rio de Janeiro, and what he saw over there, he comes through the book to let us know. It's part of a collection, and this is actually a very old version of it. The first one was 1944, and the collection of André Luiz has 16 books, and it all says here, like, the Nosso 2 is the messengers, and life goes on. So it's a really good collection. And all of them talk about life in the spiritual world. So then let's then try to think about our conditions here and then our conditions there. So we're gonna be based on Nosso to figure this out. So conditions here on the planet Earth will depend a lot. So the conditions of where we are born will depend on our reincarnatory plan or evolutionary plan. Basically, if we need to be born in a rich family, that will happen. If we need to be born in a very poor country, that's part of our evolution. So it depends what we need to learn, will come in different conditions. However, conditions can be changed. So one example, most of us here moved from Brazil to here. So we did change our condition in a way. We moved to another country, hoping to maybe improve ourselves, learn a new language, and so many other goals that people might have. And our moral conditions also, we can change. So all of us can learn to be better, more charitable, and work a little bit on our vices and develop our virtues. So conditions, they are changeable here on Earth. What about over there? What are the conditions? More this way, I can change to, yeah.
Yeah, you can change it.
I change my condition to the left, good here?
Good more. That's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you. So here are changeable. What about there? The first condition that André Luiz had as soon as he passed away was not a really good one. When he passed away, he went to umbral, or what we can call lower zones, where lots of suffering, a lot of difficulties and negativities are around. So in that first one, he even mentions that it's a region where spirits face the consequences of their unhappy actions while alive. So the condition over there will also depend on what we do here every day, our actions, our behavior, that will determine what the conditions we'll have over there. So when André Luiz passed away, he stayed 80 years in that place. Sounds like a long time, right? But it was very important for him to recover and for him to understand because he didn't even believe that life goes on. He believed that everything would finish. And here is some things that he was thinking while he was there. I was convinced that I don't no longer belong to the world of the living, yet I continue to inhale deep breaths of air. So he could breathe and he couldn't understand how that happened because for him that would be the end. And that is for many other people that we even might know, right? My conscience tormented me. I would have preferred the total absence of reason or no existence. Copious tears ran constantly down my cheeks, and only rarely was I blessed with a few minutes of sleep. So very important that part when he says, my conscience tormented me, because it's not about God punishing us, it's not about the universe or anybody punishing us. Our conscience is the one that will take us to the place that we deserve, not deserve, but the place that we need to be straight after we pass away. Because in our conscience will be, it's almost like a moral that we have because we know in our conscience is written the divine laws in everybody's conscience, and we can find that in the Spirit's book. So if the divine laws are there, not all the time we follow the divine laws, and then our conscience will bring us to that space. So André Luiz stayed in that place for 8 years, and thankfully, and also nobody stays forever, by the way. Even if we go or anyone goes to the lower zone, every suffering is temporary. There is no passing away and staying forever in hell or in any other place. So that's good news, right? So there is hope. So then André Luiz, at some point, he asked for help. He prayed with his heart, he prayed with all his strength, and he understood that he needed God. He needed a superior force to rescue him. And he was rescued. So Clarencio and Lysias went there to rescue him and took him to like a hospital in Nosso to recover. So it was a time of recovery for him, was a time of reflection, And not only him, many other spirits were rescued to go to that place. So then the condition from the lower zone were changed to the recovery place that's like the hospital. And was very important for him to receive clarifications, receive explanations. For instance, when he was in the lower zone, he could hear other people telling him that he committed suicide. And he was very surprised because he didn't actually kill himself as such. But the superior spirits explained to him that was an indirect suicide, was not that one with a gun or something drastic. Throughout his life, he did abuse the alcoholic drinks, cigarettes, and also food that were unhealthy for him. So that's what's called the indirect suicide. So he had that learning there as well. And when he first heard it, of course, it's hard to understand and can be hard to actually accept it. But after all, he understood and accepted. And then he could move on from the hospital. He could go out of the hospital and start actually living in Nosso. So Nosso um, of Nosso also have houses. So he went to Lysia's house to live there with the family. So when we think about everything that is on earth, not everything, but many things that we have here also have there. And by the way, here would be like the draft, and there is the original. But we always think the other way around, right? We are the central, we're the main, we're the most important, and there is just a copy, but the earth is a copy of the spiritual plane. So then he stayed with Lysias and he had lots of learning and understanding too. But it's important here when he says, sorry, can you see? Okay. Um, but he clarifies that Nosso is not the only place that people can go. There are many and many other colonies, and the spiritual plan has many locations because there are many types of needs in terms of the population of the earth. People will, when they pass away, they will be disincarnated in different conditions, so they need different places to go. So he says the death of body does not lead man to miraculous transformation. That's also important to point it out because sometimes people think when we pass away, we change. We become angels and we are much better. But it's just the same. Life here, life there. If here we are lazy, over there we are lazy. If here we are charitable, over there we are charitable. If we like studying and reading here, over there we'll keep the same characteristics, the same virtues, and the same vices as well. So there is no transformation. Of course, the material body stays here, but in terms of our personality and our needs and our likes, we take everything with us. Every evolutionary process implies gradation, so we evolve, but it's really slow, and step by step, there are multiple regions for discarnate spirits. So the ones that he brings in the books is just an example. Like the lower zones, the hospital, and Osla is just one example. But there are many others, and in some of the other spirits book, we can see some more examples of it. Um, are there countless and surprising plans for those who are still in flesh? Souls and feelings, forms and things obey principles of natural development and just hierarchy. But so there are many places depending what people need. In the case of Nosso, they classify as a place of recovery and learning. And many places will have this characteristic, but mainly people do both there, right? So that was about the conditions. And in both of them, as we said, on the earth, we can change our conditions. Over there, same. André Luiz managed to change his conditions for the better. So what about the people? People here in our life, yeah, we can all think about our family, our friends, people from work, people that we relate and people that we see every day. There is always people around us, right? If we live in a society and we need people to learn with, to learn from, and to help them learning as well. But what about there? What are the people, like in my dream, I couldn't see anyone from that were here with me or other people there. What are the people that we can perhaps find there? Again, that will depend on our evolutionary level, that will depend on what we've done here. In case of André Luiz, initially when he was in the lower zones, people that he found there were mainly people frustrated. They were very upset that they passed away, that were in that condition, and they felt, even when they understood that they already passed away, many of them would feel, if they are very rich here, why there they were in such a poor condition? Why they were in a place of suffering? They could not understand. So lots of frustration, lots of sadness as well, because can bring sadness when we are separated from those that we love if we don't understand the need for it. And by the way, when we are separated from those that we love or those that love us, if the love is real, we are going to meet them again. We don't know when, we don't know how, but the real love always brings people together again. So it's not a separation for good, it's just temporary. Lots of ideas of revenge as well. Sometimes people that pass away in a tragic condition, maybe someone took their life or was a war or anything like that. When people pass, they can take with them that fixed idea of revenge and wanting to harm those that are here that harmed them before. Ungrateful, not even recognizing God or the or anything about the spiritual plan, and just being angry about everything. So when Andre was in the Umbra, lower zone, this type of spirit, I'm saying people, but we know spirits, and we are spirits as well, but just to be easier to understand, we just say that it's people. And so, in the same way, if we think about our planet Earth, we can find frustrated people, people that are sad, people that are ungrateful, people that are greedy, and all sorts. And when people pass away, they will keep the same, they will carry the same. However, when André Luiz went to Nosso, then he found a different type of people because the vibration level was different. And by the way, when we pass away, we'll go exactly to the place that matches our vibration level. What is the vibration level? Our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, all of this is a, all of it collectively is our vibration level. So, for instance, in Nosso Lar, André met Florencio, which was one of the coordinators of Nosso Lar, a very kind man that helped everybody there. Lysias became a good friend of André, was a nurse for him and a friend too. And André ended up living with Lysia's family. And Narcisa was also very important because she was a nurse, like a mentor for André Luiz. She would give advice and she would help him with everything. But what about André, mother, father, and sisters? So, because that was one of his questions, he said, okay, I understand I can't see my family, my wife, and my kids because they are on earth. What about those that pass away before me? Where are they? I am in the spiritual plan. They should be here, right? But the answer is no, wrong, because they were in different levels of vibration. His mother was in a more elevated plan in another colony because she was way more involved. And at some point, she came to visit him, but took about a year for her and him to get permission to see each other. On the other hand, André's father was in a lower zone, much lower than the one that André was before, so therefore he could not meet the father straight away, and in the book at least he didn't meet. And the sisters, two of them were in a lower zone, and the other one was more elevated. So even those that passed away, we could meet straight away if they were in the same, but could be far away too. And yeah, so it's very interesting to see that, right? Because we can think if we pass away, we're going to straight away see everyone in our family and friends and everything. But Andre was really surprised because he met two other people he didn't expect at all to meet. One of them was, his name was Silveira, which was someone that he met on Earth. And André's father was not so good for Silveira because André's father helped Silveira um, kind of Silveira had a business, and then he needed to give some money to André's father. And André's father charged him anyway, knowing he didn't have enough money. So in a way, André's family was not good for Silveira, and André supported his father at the time because he believed it was the right thing to do. He was very materialist still, and he didn't believe in next life or God or anything like that. But it's really interesting when André saw Silveira. Silveira came and hugged him, was very happy to see André. And André got so ashamed because he was bad for Silveira while he was on Earth. And he didn't know what to do. So it was like an awkward encounter. So he asked Narcisa, what should I do? He told her everything. And she said, go straight away, run, and apologize. This is your opportunity. If you don't do now, then you have to do later, whether it's in another life or in the next opportunity. But now is your opportunity to do that. And then he used the opportunity. Also, Elisa was someone that worked at his house, and André didn't treat her well while on Earth. So when he saw her, he also felt really ashamed of what happened on Earth. And but he was a really great help for Elisa, and in the end, she forgave him too. So I think that made me think that here is the opportunity for us. If we have some negative feelings towards anyone, if we don't get along with some people, we should do that here. Because if we don't do here, we have to do there. So we can go lighter if we just resolve it here. Because I think if we are honest with ourselves, there are people that we get along, and there are people we don't get along, right? Unless someone here is very involved and just get along with everyone, could be, I don't know, but not my case. And we should really try our best to work on this feeling. And if we have the opportunity, at least do our part, say, I'm sorry, I'm okay with that. Doesn't matter if they do their parts. If we apologize and they don't accept our apology, that's not our problem, but we can do our part. So the more we manage to do here, the less we have to do over there. So here is the opportunity. Otherwise, we just keep postponing what we need to do. What about the learning? So learning here in planet Earth, as we know, it's something people can do, and sometimes people don't want to do as well. There is, of course, the formal learning. People go to university or to school and can learn a profession, but there is a self-learning too. If you go to YouTube, you can learn almost everything. If you want to fix a car, you can go to YouTube and see how to do it. If you want to paint the walls, almost everything can be learned by the self-learning too, right? Here on Earth. But the most important, also important, is for us to learn about ourselves, for us to develop. And there are many tests. We are in this planet of trial and expiations, and every day we get tested somehow. Who here feels that the patients get tested almost every day? Yeah, patience is one thing that can test us a lot. And there are many tests for us every single day. The test could be on traffic when it's really busy and people try to cut us or people are not driving so well. The test could be at work when someone criticizes of our work or when we are working hard and my colleague is not doing their job is also a test. Or a family member that we feel is harder to communicate, harder to understand, and can be more subtle tests when we have a friend or someone in our life that needs our help and we decide to ignore. We decide to, I'm too busy, I'm doing my things, I don't need to help. So in this planet, the tests are available for us every single day. And there are all sorts of tests, all types, depending on what we have to learn. And we can try to do our best and learn, or we can do nothing as well. It's our choice. But there is lots of learning happen in this planet, in here. What about in the Nosso, for instance, for spiritual plane, but we're talking specifically about Nosso. There is also lots of learning, workshops, lectures, and in the book there are many beautiful speeches from the ministers and the evolved spirits there. So again, there are lots and lots of opportunities of learning. So we learn here, we learn there. But again, we can choose to not learn here and even to not learn there if we want to. It's always our choice. But if we don't learn, we don't evolve. An interesting learning or workshop that is described in the book is the training against fear. I was very puzzled when I saw that because I thought it was very interesting. So Clarence is saying we classify fear as one of the creature's worst enemies, and it lodges in the citadel of the soul, attacking the deepest force. Observing my strangeness, he continued, have no doubt. The governorship in current emergencies place training against fear far above nursing lessons themselves. I was very curious about that training. I want to do it. Who wants to do the training? Should be not now, later, much later, not now. That's okay. I can do other training here, right? But if one day I go to Nosso, I really want to participate in that. And it's interesting how it says classify fear as one of the worst creature's enemies. And if we look at our planet Earth now, fear is everywhere. People are afraid of little things, big things. We all have fear. And what tools we can use, what strategies to manage that fear? So, huh? So, run, depending, yeah, could run. Yeah, that part is important because sometimes fear is important. That is the good side of fear. Sometimes we have to run, definitely. If a big dog, pit bull is coming after us, we gotta run, right? It's protection, it's self-preservation. So that side of fear is okay and is important and it's part of our instinct of preservation. We all have and we should have. Otherwise, we can get burned if we go to the stove and put our hands. We can jump out of a building because we don't have any fear. So fear is important. The problem is the excess of fear or fear when it's not really necessary. So because when something happens or when we have a problem, our tendency, I don't know if it's everyone, but most people go straight to the worst case scenario, right? Goes to what is the worst that can happen? I have a problem. Oh, but it's not going to work. I'm sure I'm not capable to do it. It's really bad because things go wrong in this planet. Lots of things go wrong, right? But if we go to the problem with this idea, most likely it's gonna go wrong because we're already going with this negative energy. And yeah, we always think, what if it goes wrong? But we can try to think what if it goes right. Try to be a bit more positive of it. So that is one of the things we can do regarding fear. And the main one, instead of fear, we need to try to start replacing by the faith. Because we do say we believe, and I think most of us are honest when we say, I have faith, I believe. It's really easy to have faith when everything is going well, isn't it? We just got a new job. Yes, I have faith. Got a new car. Yes, lots of faith. But then when something goes wrong, where is the faith? We believe, oh, it didn't work out. And it's hard for us to think, what happened is the best that should happen to me, is what I need at the moment. So that faith is very important for us to work in ourselves. And if we do remember, who is our father? Who is our father? If I ask my brother, he say, Mr. Fagundes, right? It's my father too. But, huh?
Papito.
Papito, yes. But we all have a different father, right? But we do have a common father, which is God. God is the father of all of us. And God, as we can see in the Spirit book, is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things. So God is the most powerful force of the universe. It's not Star Wars, by the way, it's God, right? So people say Star Wars is not. It's definitely God. And because we forget about that, we forget about the existence of God. We came from God, we are created by God. Meaning, we do have all the seeds of goodness in ourselves. We have the seeds of charity, of love, of compassion, of kindness. They not developed. They could be they are a bit developed, but they're not fully developed yet. We are on the way. We are experiencing evolution. But it's important for us to think we are sons or daughters of God, and God is the main force of the universe. So how we cannot believe, how we cannot have faith. And who is our brother? Oh, Mani is my brother. It's good that my brother is here, right? Can give lots of examples. But I have another brother, Marcus, as well. I'll tell his name, otherwise you'll be jealous. I have to tell his name too. So everyone, some people have brothers here on earth, some people don't, and that's okay. But we all have a common brother, which is Jesus Christ. And Jesus is our example. Every time we are in doubt, we can think about Jesus' lessons, what did Jesus told us, and what he did, what Jesus would do in my place. And sometimes, yes, it's really hard to do exactly what Jesus do, but at least we know his lessons and we know who to follow. What about the concerns that we have here on the planet Earth? So we put there just a few. Who is concerned about money in this planet? Because we have to pay the bills. And it's okay. We are in the material planet. We need to be responsible for our bills, for our food, for our shelter, for everything. So it's not wrong to think about money. Wrong would be to be thinking too much about money and only about money, but it's okay. So here we have the concern about money, career, material things, and power, sometimes power when for work or for anything could be, status, health. Everyone is concerned about the health as well. Or most people want to be healthy and look after themselves, family, friends. So these are the concerns, and I'm sure there are many more others, but we don't have time to talk about all the concerns. What about there in the spiritual plane? What would be the worries or concerns of the spirits over there? So that will depend. Less evolved spirits will still be concerned about material things. So we can see in the books and in the mediumship meetings that some spirits passed away and they are thinking about their house here, they think about their car, the money that other people are spending. So they are there, but they worried about the material things in here. And they can be, as we mentioned before, they can be worried about revenge. They can be very negative in their mindsets and not really worried about their evolution and not really with the worry about learning and evolving, but pretty much attached to the material plane. Over there also, the concerns of the more evolved spirits then are very, very different, which I find very interesting and beautiful because the more evolved spirits are mainly worried about the well-being of their loved ones. They are always thinking about how they can help. Could be those that are here on Earth, could be those that are over there. For instance, Andrea Louise's mother, she was very worried about her husband, the husband that she had on the Earth. And she was getting ready to incarnate again to be with him and to help him. So it's different, isn't it? We can concern about family and friends, but we are not that concerned in terms of doing everything for them. And some people might be, and if that's the case, it's good as well. And the way that they can help those that they love is through working, because the more they work, the more merits they have to help those that they love. So work there is valued. They love working. They like Rihanna, that song, work, 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 work. And it's kind of the opposite, right? Here we work a little bit, I'm tired, I don't want to work anymore. But get ready, because here we don't work as much as they work there. And one day you'll be wanting to work because you have this desire to help those that we love. And not only those, but everyone over there. So a good example is Veneranda from the book. She is one of the ministers of Nosso, and she received awards there because she worked 1 million hours, which correspond to 200 years of activities. That's impressive, isn't it? How can you work for 200 years and be happy about it? After a month of work, I'm tired already. I don't know about you guys, but it's very different, the mentality. And so then she's able to help many other people through her work. So that mindset we'll learn one day when we get there, right? So, oh, sorry, that's a bit small. But just a little bit for us to reflect. How ready are we for there? Because it's gonna happen, whether we like or not, when, we don't know. Some people might live until 100, I don't know. But one day that's gonna happen. Are we ready? How ready are we? And the things that we can think of, what is our level of attachment to material things? So don't need to reply out loud. Everyone can think for themselves. But I was thinking about an example because this week is my last week at my current work, and next week I'm going to do a secondment in another work. And I was today sitting down and looking at my desk, my chair, my computer. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna get in the other work. I'm sure it'll be a desk and a chair, but what that's gonna look like. And I really like my chair. I was thinking, can I take my chair there? Maybe, no, not really. But we get attached to things, right? To things that we have, to the car, or to whatever. But it's important for us to start getting prepared because things are just with us while we are here. When we pass away, everything stays here. Someone else will use, or will be destroyed. We don't know. We're not gonna take anything with us. And what our level of attachment to people? I think that is even harder. People that we see every day, people that we talk every day, how are we gonna feel not having these people around us? So we gotta be prepared to it too. And yeah, that's interesting for us to think about. So our feelings and our thoughts are matching what kind of place over there, what kind of thoughts we have every day, what feelings we have, how we are feeding our minds. We feed our mind by reading, by watching, by doing stuff. What are we putting in the minds? And we choose because there are so many choices, right? We never had so many choices in terms of YouTube, and we have in our hands the TV pretty much. The phone goes everywhere, and you can watch and you can select. So what are we selecting, and what are you feeding ourselves? And by watching, of course, that will influence our thoughts and influence our feelings as well. So whatever we live in here, we're going to somehow live over there because that will be matching the vibration. And our actions and behaviors will match which place. Because in the lower zones is more laziness, negativity, and in the superior ones is about work, wanting to help, wants to contribute, wanting to be part of a team, and yeah, being worried about those that they love and helping others and wanting to learn too. They do lots of courses, not only the fear, but there are many other ones that one day we'll have access, hopefully. So how can we, yeah, and in the end we say it will be an invitation. The invitation is for us to prepare ourselves to get there in the best condition possible. That is what we can do, is to prepare ourselves. So think about this and prepare ourselves. But then the how can we do that? How we can get there in a better condition rather than in a not so good condition. Having this mindset of improve ourselves so we can help others. So of course we need to have that charitable mind or charitable mindset, but we need to improve ourselves in order to help others. Because if we are already so sad or so depressed or not in a good shape, not in a good mental health, it's really hard to help others. So we need to study, we need to learn. If we need help, we need to ask for help. We can't just stay in the same state. And how can we improve ourselves? Self knowledge. We need to analyze ourselves, especially our vices. When we do something wrong, we need to stop and identify why we did that, how we can fix. When we have feelings of jealousy, selfishness, greedy, why we having that, and how we can change to virtues. And of course, it's very hard to do our self-knowledge because we avoid looking at our imperfections. It's really easy to look at our good things, but we don't want to look at our imperfections, but we need to do that. Even in the Spirit's book, the question, I think it's 919, which the Allan Kardec asked, what is the best way for us to improve ourselves? And the answer is know yourself, analyze yourself. So we need to do this task. And of course, make a conscious effort to improve. We need to want to improve and work on it every day. It's not just today think, okay, I'm gonna become better, I'll do my self-knowledge, and then after 2 days we forget about it. It's a step by step, it's a continuous process, it's a lifetime process. And follow the best influencer that we have of all times. If Jesus had an Instagram, would be the biggest one, right? Because he is well known by everyone, by many, many people, and he's our best example. So we have his examples, we have his lessons, and he's our guide and he's our brother as well. So as Jesus told us, his advice, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with your entire mind. So first of all, we need to love God, who is our Father, the Creator, and the Supreme Intelligence, is the biggest force of the universe. So this is the first and greatest commandment. And the second one is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. So in summary, the answer is love, right? It's love God, love ourselves, as love the neighbor as we love ourselves. So hopefully we'll get there in good conditions, but at least we know that life continues. There is life here, there is life there, life goes on, just in a different way, in a different shape, and we'll keep going and continuing. Um, yeah, so basically there was that parallel that we want to bring, and just so we can be aware and prepare ourselves a little bit better. And thank you for listening. Yeah.
There's a few people watching, so we can ask them.
So, and even here, does anybody has any questions or comments or anything?
Well, that's really interesting, Alcione. And I think I was listening to someone talking the other day about material attachment and
Mhm.
saying, and saying something very similar to what you said, like, that we have to remember that 100 years from now, someone else will be living in your house. All the things that you have right now will belong to someone else,
Yeah.
or will have been your car will probably pull apart and separated into pieces, or lots of what you want will be melted or destroyed. And
Mhm.
so we need to learn to focus on what is important and what will actually add to our. And this was not really like a spiritist message.
Okay.
There was someone saying like, oh, what actually matters? What should we actually spending most of our time and effort into? and how much effort we put into improving our material life, but not a third of the effort is put into improving our mental or spiritual improvement. So it's definitely something to think about. So thank you, it was really interesting.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Very good.
Oh my God, sorry.
It's alright,
Is
it's just
the
the mic.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully it doesn't make too much noise for you guys at home.
Yes.
It's alright. Woke everybody up. So we're just gonna say goodbye to people at home. So we are gonna do our vibration. So thank you for watching. See you next month.